Good morning, Year 6. Here are the answers to yesterday's tasks and yesterday's additional tasks. Please pause the video and mark your work. And here are your Fluent in 5 questions for today. Please get yourself your 5-minute timer ready, and once you're set, off you go. Right, so let's have a look at those answers for today. Please remember to keep a record of your scores so that you can fill them in on the assessment sheet on Friday. You may have also worked out G to be a decimal remainder. If you did, you should have got the answer of 637.33. If you did that, that one is also correct, so you can have the mark. Well done. Okay, today we're going to be recapping our knowledge on fractions. So let's have a look at the main areas that we're going to cover today. So we're going to be looking at simplifying fractions, adding and subtracting fractions, fractions and division, and converting fractions to decimals. So first of all, it's really important to recall what the vocabulary is. So we've got numerator and denominator. So the numerator is the top number of the fraction, and it tells you how many equal parts there are. And the denominator is the bottom number, and it tells you the total number of equal parts. Okay, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and have a go at explaining what each of these mean. So like fraction, unlike fraction, mixed number fraction, and an improper fraction. Off you go. Okay, so a like fraction, okay, is where you've got two or more fractions where the denominators are the same. So for example, these two fractions are like fractions because the denominators are the same, they're split into the same number of equal parts. Okay, an unlike fraction, therefore, is when the denominators are different. Okay, so if I had 2/6 and 3/5, okay, they're unlike because the denominators are different. There's a different amount of equal parts. A mixed number fraction is a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. So for example, 3.5. And an improper fraction, okay, is where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So for example, 14/3. Okay, which we could then convert into a mixed number fraction. Okay, but an improper fraction is where the numerator is larger, meaning that it is more than a whole. Super, so hopefully you had a similar explanation for each of those. Let's start off by looking at simplifying fractions. Okay, so it's really important with fractions that we simplify our answers as much as we can when we can. So simplifying fractions, okay, is when we can divide the top and the bottom of the fraction, so the numerator and the denominator, by the same number to make it into its simplest form. So in this example one here, we've got 15/20. Okay, both of those can be divided by 5. And it's really important with fractions to remember that what we do to the top, we always do to the bottom, or what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So if I divide them both by 5, the simplest form is 3/4. Okay, so if we have a look at 15/33, what can I divide both 15 and 33 by? Okay, I can divide them both by 3. Okay, 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 33 divided by 3 is 11. So in its simplest form, it is 5/11ths. Right, now pause the video and have a go at working out these two fractions to their simplest form. Off you go. Okay, and here are the answers. So 4/5 and 1/4. If you need to, pause the video and see what I divided them both by, but well done if you got that correct. Right, looking at adding fractions. Okay, when adding fractions, what must we do first? Okay, when adding fractions, it's really important that we make the two fractions like fractions first. Okay, so we need to convert the fractions so that the denominators are the same in order for us to add it. Right, let's look at this first one together. 2/3 add 1/8. First thing I need to do is make them like fractions. So the way that I do that is by looking at my denominator. Okay, what is the lowest common multiple of 3 and 8? Lowest common multiple of 3 and 8 is 24. Okay, so I need to convert them into equivalent fractions where the denominator is 24. I think, what do I times 3 by to get 24? I multiply it by 8. And what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So 2 times 8 is 16. Then I do that with my 8th. Okay, what do I times 8 by to get 24? I times it by 3. So I once again do the same to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I can add them together. 16 24ths add 3 24ths. Okay, when adding fractions, we don't add the denominators, they stay the same. 16 add 3 is 19. Okay, then I always look at my final fraction. Can I simplify it? Okay, I can't simplify 19 24ths, so that is just the answer. What I'd like you to do now is pause the video and have a go at B, C and D, and then unpause for the answers. Okay, and here are the answers. So B, you only had to convert 2/3, so that it became 8/12. When you added them together, you got 9/12, and then I could simplify that into 3/4. C, when we added them together as like fractions, you should have got 5/10, which once again we can simplify to a half. And then finally for D, when I add them together, I get 5/12, which I cannot simplify. So the answer is just 5/12. Well done. Okay, and then looking at subtracting fractions. So if I had the calculation 5/6 subtract 1/12, okay, what do I need to do in order to work out this answer? Okay, just like with adding fractions, I need to make them like fractions. Okay, so I need to be looking for the lowest common multiple of 6 and 12. Lowest common multiple is 12. Okay, so what I can do here is convert 5/6, okay, into 12ths. So that the denominator is 12. What do I do to 6 to get to 12? I multiply it by 2, and I do the same to the top. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, now that I've done that, I can now do the subtraction. Okay, because I've now got 10/12ths subtract 1/12. Okay, once again, denominators stay the same. 10 subtract 1 is 9. 9/12ths. Okay, once again, I always look, can I simplify that fraction? Okay, yes I can, because I can divide them both by 3. Okay, so in its simplest form, it would be 3/4. Okay, what I'd like you to do now is pause the video and have a go at these 3 calculations, making sure first of all that you're converting the necessary fractions. Make sure you simplify your answers and then unpause the video for the answers. Okay, and here are the answers. So B, the answer was 3/10. C, the answer was 1/18, and D was 1/24. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling quite confident with those calculations. Well done. Okay, and now recapping fractions and division. Okay, so when we're given a division sentence like this, okay, we can convert it into a fraction. Okay, so 4 divided by 5 as a fraction would be 4/5. Okay, so 7 divided by 9 would be 7/9. Okay, have a quick look and just think 5 divided by 8 and 7 divided by 11, what would they be as a fraction? okay, it would be 5/8 and 7/11. Okay, a copy of this can be found on the learning presentation, maybe a little bit clearer. Okay, and then likewise, as kind of the reverse, if we're given a fraction, we can also represent that as a division sentence. Okay, so 3/7 as a division sentence would be 3 divided by 7. 8/12 would be 8 divided by 12. Have a quick think, 3/10 and 5/6 as a division sentence, what would that be? Okay, it would be 3 divided by 10 and then 5 divided by 6. Okay, and the reason why we do this, okay, as a quick recap, is this can then help us convert fractions into decimals, which I'm going to move on to in a moment. Okay, but before we do that, okay, we're just going to look at these division sentences, okay, because these division sentences, obviously I could convert into a fraction, okay, which we will do now. Okay, however, what do you spot about these types of fractions? Okay, hopefully you're wanting to tell me that they are improper fractions. And what we can do with these improper fractions is to convert them into mixed number fractions in their simplest form. Okay, so the way that I do that, okay, so if we look at this first one, 19/2, okay, my whole is split into two pieces. Obviously, if there's 19 of them, there's more than one. So I think about how many twos or how many wholes are there in 19. Okay, so the way that I can do that is do 19 divided by 2. Okay, how many twos fit into 19? 9 do, because 9 times 2 is 18. What's left over is 1. Okay, and my denominator stays the same. So 19/2 is the same as 9.5. Okay, right, pause the video and then have a go at converting these into mixed numbers. Okay, so for B, hopefully you got 10 3/4, and for C, you got 9 4/5. Okay, I'm just going to go through D very quickly. So 20/8, over 8, sorry. So how many wholes are there? How many 8s go into 20? 2. Okay, because 2 times 8 is 16. What is therefore then left over to get to 20 is 4. Okay, so it'd be 2 4/8. I now need to look at that. Okay, can I simplify it? Yes, I can. Okay, because I can divide both 4 and 8 by 4. Okay, which means that 2 4/8 in its simplest form would be 2.5. It's really important that we follow that step. Okay, and then finally today we're going to recap our knowledge on converting fractions to decimals. Okay, so we're just using what we've just used about fractions and division. Okay, that's going to help us convert these fractions. Okay, there's two ways that you can convert fractions to decimals, and I'm going to show you both now. The first way, okay, is obviously by first of all looking at the denominator and see if you can convert the fractions into a fraction where the denominator is 10, 100 or 1,000, okay, because we can use our knowledge of place value and decimals to convert it a lot quicker. Okay, so for example 4/5, okay, I know that I can convert that into tenths, okay, because I can do 5 times 2 is 10, and once again if I do the same to the top, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so then thinking of 8/10, okay, 8/10, thinking of my place value where I'd put 8/10, 8/10 is equivalent to 0.8. So I've converted 4/5 nice and quickly into a decimal there. Okay, if we look at 7/20, okay, I know that the 20 I can convert into hundredths. Okay, because what do I times 2 by to get 100? What do I times 20? Sorry, 20 by to get 100. I times it by 5. So once again, I do the same to the top. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, now 35 hundredths. Think about our place value. Where does that go? It would be 0.35. Okay, so that is the first way. However, obviously, sometimes the fractions you can't convert them into tenths, hundredths or thousands. So we then need to pull on our division knowledge to help us work that out. So for example, if we had the division sentence 12 divided by 5, okay, which would be as a fraction 12 fifths, okay. If we then wanted to represent that as a decimal, okay, we would need to divide it, okay. So I would do 12 divided by 5, okay. And for all of these, if necessary, we will need to round to 2 decimal places. So just in case, I'm going to put my 3 zeros after my decimal point ready. Okay, I'm going to use short division. So I'm going to look at the 12. How many 5s go into 12? It's 2. Not forgetting my decimal point. What's left over is 2. Okay, and then 5s into 20, okay, is 4. Okay, so actually I didn't need those 2 zeros, but never mind. It's always best to be prepared. Okay, so the answer would be 2.4. Okay, so using our division knowledge. What I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and have a go at these. See if you can convert them into decimals, okay? For C and D, there are 2 ways to convert them. One is by converting into an improper fraction, which I will show, or by keeping the whole number and the fraction separate. Okay, so here is the answer to B. Okay, you should have put it to 3 decimal places and then rounded to 2 decimal places, giving you the answer of 2.67. Okay, right, for these 2, I gave you the clue that you needed to convert them into improper fractions. Okay, so to do that, I would do 3 times 5 is 15, add on the 3 is 18. So as an improper fraction, it would be 18 over 5. Okay, so to work this out, hopefully what you've done is 18 divided by 5. Make sure that we get these numbers the right way round. Okay, just being prepared. How many 5s go into 18? 3. What's left over is 3. Okay, and then 5s into 30 is 6. Oh, once again, being too prepared, I didn't need those. So my answer, hopefully, that you got was 3.6. And then 5 and 7/9. 5 times 9 is 45. Add on 7 is 52 over 9. Okay, and then dividing that again. So 52 divided by 9. So how many 9s go into 52? There would be 5 of them. Okay, because 5 times 9 is 45. 45, what is left over is 7. Okay, how many 9s go into 7? There would be 7, because 7 times 9 is 63. Oh, this time I did need my zeros. 63, what's left over would be 7 again. How many 9s in 70 would be 7. How many are left over? 7. So it'd be 7 again. And then round it, so it'd be 5.78. So well done if you got that correct. What I'd like you to do now is to have a go at today's tasks. And then in tomorrow's videos, I will go through the answers. Good luck.